Introduction. According to the United States Bureau of Transportation Statistics, 9% of the country's GDP is made up by transportation functions. Exports and imports account for over $860 billion annually. The national freight movement is also considerable and is growing alongside with the American economy. The major models of transportation are road, rail, water, air, and pipeline. Each of the modes has certain advantages and drawbacks. Some types of freights can be delivered with the help of only particular types of transportation. Therefore, transportation managers can choose any mode or a combination of modes to address their company's transportation needs.
Criteria for choosing an appropriate mode of transportation.
When choosing the most appropriate mode of transportation, it is necessary to take into account a number of criteria. First, it is important to evaluate the capacity of the type of transport. For instance, peculiarities of the infrastructure can make the use of rail or road transport impossible. Due to fierce competition and certain economic difficulties many industries have to face, costs can become the primary criterion. Clearly, the delivery time is also an important factor shaping managers' decisions. Availability is also crucial as due to environmental disasters, infrastructure peculiarities, resources, and so on, some modes of transport can be unavailable. Finally, environmental imprint has become an important factor to consider if a company tries to become a responsible corporate citizen. Safety is another important criterion to pay attention to, especially when it comes to the delivery of valuables or hazardous materials.
Road transportation.
One of the major advantages of the road transport is its cost-effectiveness in short-distance delivery. It is fast and can be used for door-to-door delivery. The infrastructure is well developed, and the construction of roads requires comparatively low investment and short periods. Nevertheless, this mode of transportation is associated with quite significant disadvantages. It can be rather costly with long-distance deliveries. This type of inland transport is also prone to damage. Traffic jams are often common in the urban setting. This mode accounts for the major part of the emissions produced by inland transportation systems.
Rail transportation.
One of the most valuable properties of this mode of transportation is its capacity, as it is possible to deliver substantial loads in short periods of time. Due to this feature, rail transportation is cost-effective, especially when it comes to long distances. The infrastructure is often less prone to damages associated with weather conditions. There are fewer accidents and higher safety measures as compared to road transportation. As for the disadvantages, they can be crucial when making transportation decisions. The development of the infrastructure as well as vehicles requires significant investments. If rail freight operators are addressed, the company has to depend on their timetables, fees, and other terms. This mode is also associated with a high use of resources, for example fuel consumption. Finally, rail freight depots are mainly located quite far from urban or suburban areas, which makes intermodalism unavoidable.
Water transportation.
An important advantage of maritime transportation is its applicability in international transportation, especially when it comes to the delivery to different continents or distant islands. The costs of this mode are not high as compared to other means, especially air transport. Vessels can deliver cargo or very heavy loads. It is also one of the safest means of transport. Although resources use is quite high, this mode of transport inflicts a moderate environmental impact. However, some disadvantages still exist. For instance, this mode of transportation is often associated with considerable delivery time. It also requires quite significant initial investment. One of the major disadvantages is its vulnerability to weather conditions, as some delivery terms can often be violated due to bad weather.
Air transportation.
When considering the primary advantages of air transport, the high speed of delivery should be mentioned first. This is the fastest way to deliver freight. It is also one of the most reliable modes of transportation. It can be the only option in many cases. For instance, when it comes to islands, mountainous areas, and the like. As to the disadvantages, it is noteworthy that although significant cargo and heavy loads can be delivered, the costs are also high, so this mode's cost-effectiveness can be questionable. Air transportation is the most expensive way to deliver freight. It is associated with substantial use of resources, such as fuel, and the highest amount of harmful emissions into the air.
Pipeline transportation.
One of the most prominent benefits of pipelines is a well-developed infrastructure that can access any part of the world. Pipes can be placed underwater, under or on land. The costs are quite low as large amounts of gas or liquids can be transported. The impact pipelines have on the environment is quite moderate as the safety measures are rather strict. As far as the disadvantages are concerned, pipelines are now used to transport liquids and gases. The construction of pipelines and the corresponding infrastructure requires considerable initial investment.
Major uses, types of freight.
The advantages and disadvantages mentioned above can shape managers' decisions as to the types of freight and goods to deliver with the help of different modes of transportation. At this point, it is necessary to note that different types of transport are often used, which is referred to as intermodalism. So, when it comes to the door-to-door delivery, road transport is likely to be an indispensable part of the chain. Rails are specifically valuable for the delivery of cargo or very heavy loads. Maritime transportation is also used for this purpose. The choice between the two modes depends on the routes available and costs associated. At that, when intercontinental shipment is necessary, maritime or air transport are two possible options. Air transport is the fastest and safest, but the most expensive mode. Pipelines are the primary transportation mode to transport liquids and gases.
Major uses, time and distance.
The features of different modes of transportation also affect the choices when it comes to the speed and distance. Air, maritime, and rail transportation are used for long distances mainly, although medium and short distances can also be covered due to the availability of infrastructure. For instance, aircraft can be used for a comparatively short distance for the delivery to some isolated areas. Road transportation is one of the most widely used types of transportation.
Conclusion.
It is necessary to note that the development of technology and globalization are changing patterns used making the delivery of goods faster and more cost-effective. StudyCorgi.com has everything you need for successful studies. Writing tools, informative articles, and essay samples. Come check it out.